Greetings, all you Billy Bumblers out there, and welcome to the Monday Morning Vodkast podcast. Let's get jiggy with it. How was everybody's weekend? My weekend was pretty fantastic. I'm not going to dwell on this whole DNA test kit thing right now, because there's not much I can do about it. However, I did spend a good portion of yesterday on Ancestry.com. Slowly, as this podcast goes on, I'm going to lose more and more clothes, so you might want to stick around. No, it really bummed me out last week, thinking about it constantly, and then I realized, you know what, it's out of my power. If it's meant to be that I'm going to find out more about my lineage, then it'll happen. I have decided I am probably going to take the Ancestry.com, their DNA test, or possibly the 23andMe. I don't know which one I want to go with yet. I spent so much time on Ancestry yesterday that I filled in so much. And my mother's side filled in really quickly. And on top of that, I discovered a lot of names that and dates of births and deaths that were never recorded, or at least, handed down to my mother. My mother was really diligent about keeping dates and stuff. And I don't know if it's our generation or not that doesn't really give a shit about that anymore. Like, it doesn't seem like when I grew up, everybody sent out Christmas cards. If you didn't, you were like, whoa, what's wrong with them this year? And now we're at a point where, like, I guess maybe it's the digital age that converted the way that we communicate. I still get cards, and I feel terrible, man. There are a few people every year that I get from, and every year I say, next year, you know what? I'm going to do Christmas cards. I think eventually we are going to, though, because it's just fun, like the idea, like especially the Oliveras. Like, it would certainly be a non-traditional card, and I think everybody would get a good laugh out of it. Or you might fucking hate it. I don't know. I ain't got a whole hell of a lot to talk about this morning. However, I did run into something at the store the other day that I believe needs to be shared with you guys. Any of you guys who liked the marshmallow-topped Reese's Peanut Butter Cups that came out, I thought they were super fantastic. Some people having a hard time finding them. They're all over the stores down here. But I almost passed these things up. Look at this. The fucking Reese's cluster. You know what this is? This is a turtle. It's basically a turtle, except is it almonds? It's not almonds. Whatever the nut is in a turtle. I think it might be an almond. It's not a solid almond. Like it's broken pieces of almond. And I'm going to eat this motherfucker for you right now. I'm going to eat it like you've never seen it eat. Oh, I lose my shirt. I'm already such a fat fuck. I don't need to eat this. I don't think I have the description here. I can't read it anyway because I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to be good. Reese's is just it's one of my weaknesses. Ever since I was a kid and I discovered the combination of chocolate and peanut butter, it's been one of my favorites. What are some of your favorite flavors? Like, did your palate change as you grew up? When I was a kid, I loved mint chocolate chip, but I didn't discover mint chocolate chip until I was a chocolate boy my whole life. Chocolate boy up until, well, a lot of things in my life, probably around my late teenage years. And then I think I saw mint chocolate chip once. Well, everybody has seen mint chocolate chip once, but you know what I mean? Like I saw it for the first time. And the contrast of the green and the black chips, it just appealed to me so much that I had to try it, and turned out I liked it. Like many things in life, I didn't try so much growing up that I really love now. I'll always hate seafood in the ocean, so fuck you, ocean. Fuck you in the ass. So I did stumble across some interesting things while I was on Ancestry.com. You see, they upload, it's a huge, it's more massive than I ever thought it was. Like, I never really thought into it, but like everybody's family tree, if there's a link, it'll give you a hint. We're doing the free trial because I ain't paying fucking $60 a month or $200 a year. It was definitely worth it so far, but I think you would finally hit a wall where you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this now? I mean, it's nice because they keep sending you new information as it becomes available or whatever, but shit, man. I don't know how I go from talking about ice cream and not trying things growing up to other subjects. I can't focus these days. So I pretty much did obsess with it over the weekend, but I'm over my obsession now. Like, I'm going to let nature take its course and we'll see what comes back. I've got a lot of information out there, and I think I may have found his parents on Ancestry, but I'm not 100% sure because I didn't know my father to have siblings. It's not something that I don't remember my mother ever sharing with me, but there's a Mary. Apparently his first wife's name was Alice Morley. But the kids, there's a Eveline, Mary, Luis, and Manuel would be the 4 kids. And I'm pretty sure this is them. But it's weird that they're listed with other kids. So the only thing I can think of is, I don't know. I have no idea. It's like the mystery in the plot just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and I just keep digging myself into a deeper, darker hole. Speaking of deeper, darker holes. So to wrap up the whole DNA thing, I'm not going to talk about this in every podcast and every vodcast and every video I make, but if there's further information to share with you, I will certainly put it out there. It was just something that totally consumed my life for a few days, and I got really genuinely drunk on Saturday night. And it's the worst night for me to get drunk on because it's the night that I like to hang out with my friends on Zoom meetings from all over the country, continentally, intercontinentally. Macho Man Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect. Who was the greatest intercontinental champion of all time? You know, some might say it was the Honky Tonk Man. He held that thing for, I think, about 2 years. You guys like wrestling? I grew up on wrestling. I loved wrestling growing up, but I was really interested in like the early 2000s when The Rock and Stone Cold and guys like that were making a name for themselves. But I grew up in the Hulk Hogan era, and brother, wrestling was fun when I was a kid. It was a mystery. When you were young, you were never told it was scripted. It was. Most people understood that, but the diehard fans, I think, or the younger fans, they didn't need to believe that. I realized, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but they just basically are recycling stories year after year after year, decade after decade. And I got to the point where, like, if you don't stay on top of that stuff, new guys come in, old guys go out, new old guys come back, guys from other organizations come in. I found it very interesting when I was a kid. Like, I really loved the storylines and the hero coming out on top. And of course, that whole narrative flipped in like the 90s and the early 2000s when all of a sudden you were rooting for the guys who were the bad guys in a way. Maybe that was the switch in our culture at that point. Maybe it was like we were all heading towards this moment where it was no longer fun or interesting to be the good guy, and it was more fun to route for the bad guy. Route. I routed the enemy! Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the scraps from Longshank's table, and I hope you guys are enjoying these. If you are, it would be great if you would consider subscribing and smash that like button if you liked it. If you didn't, hit the hate button. I mean, if you have that much hate in your heart that you have to hit a button, it's all right. I'll take it. I'll take that for you. Don't forget to make somebody smile today. Take care of yourselves out there, and I'll catch you guys later on in the next episode of the Vodkast podcast. Take care. Jason out. Boy, howdy.